article that you assigned was boring, and
Yep, on purpose.
On purpose.
Yep.
Because you didn't want them to focus on the content. You wanted them to sort of ignore the content.
Yep.
And look at the structure of it.
Yeah. So this is the first article right here, which is about a what do you call it? Tapisserie? The thing behind her. Tapestry, yeah, a tapestry that made its way back to a museum in the region after it had been refurbished. And so this woman is explaining how happy they are to have it back in their museum.
That's
so,
very interesting to me.
well, for some people, but make yourself a 19-year-old and you realize it's not that. So purposely, I chose this article, and then without going into detail, still the first sentence of the article, this thing underneath the photo, this right here, that's all kind of part of a journalistic standard that they seem to follow, sometimes blindly. They don't even realize they're following it. It was interesting when they asked him questions about this, he didn't realize that he was actually doing this. And everybody does it for the most part. It's just the way it works. So that was the first one. You want to see the second one? This was about a pricing war between the big, huge supermarkets and what they publish, and each one of them saying that they have the cheapest prices and how they can go about doing that. And France has a lot of very strict rules about lying in the press, unlike America. So this was it was kind of a big deal for them, each one to say we have the cheapest prices. And again, so this was a cultural moment for them as well. And again, it followed a lot of the same rules as for writing an article.
It's not the press, it's entertainment here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So when you were first doing the Skype interview, or trying to do the Skype interview with them, and you given it a test run beforehand, and it didn't work, talk more about what happened there. Was that in class?
No. Oh yeah. Well, the dry one I did with him. I just said dry one, didn't I?
Yeah.
The dry run I did with him was with the technology they were going to be using, the computer they were going to be using, and with my computer as well. I wasn't in the lab though, and then he brought that to the other area a couple days later, where they were actually going to be sitting and doing it. Then he might have, I don't know, changed. Something's changed on his side. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't working. So that's when we just decided to use FaceTime.
So you had 40 students in a classroom, and you had the whole
yeah.
Terrible nightmare of the technology not working.
Luckily for us, the conversation I kind of planned on, if we had a problem, as you mentioned, we need to have some plan Bs. One, we had a technology plan B, which was using FaceTime. The other plan B was our class was set up so that we had about 20 minutes and 20 minutes and 20 minutes of activities to do in class. So we took the last one and just made it first, and they started working together on something while we stood up in front and scrambled and tried to get hooked up.
All right,
so
that's a really cool point and way to do that. Is to always have a plan B, and even the idea of not just have a plan B, but give them something to do that can happen.
So I can sit and work on things. Yeah, I think in life I have a hit by the bus philosophy. Like, what if I get hit by a bus? What if someone got hit by the bus? Show needs to go on still. So our technology was hit by the bus, and the show went on, I guess.
Can you just use the Skype that anybody can download on the
Yep.
computer?
Yeah. There's two levels. I hear Skype is going to change for us here on campus soon, but there's two, potentially, there's two types of Skypes, isn't there? I don't know, if a more professional version, one there. And I think it's the professional version that allows you, for the time being, to have multiple users. We were just using the regular Skype, I think. Just plain old Skype, and it was working. I'd used Skype a bunch of times that year for different things, so I was very comfortable with it.
Yeah, Skype got bought by Microsoft and rolled into their Office 365 products. Now, the campus having Office 365, there's currently a pilot group on campus testing out whether Skype for Business, is it going to be called Link? It's going to stay Skype for Business. Will be turned on for all of campus or not. Probably will. But we aren't sure.
Does Skype allow more than one person to link, or is it like 10?
On Skype for Business?
On regular Skype too.
On regular Skype too.
Yeah.
There used to be a subscription plan that
Wow.
Google Hangouts, same thing, Ken.
Because Google Hangout allows it like that in the breakout session, but the lobby you can have it unlimited.
Interesting.
Oh, that'd be really great. Yeah.
So they said you can have numerous breakout sessions, but only 10 in each breakout session.
Yeah. What Amy's referring to is, let me just pull that up real quick.
I think we actually have the commercial version of Google Hangouts, so if you're using your UW account, you can actually get up to 15 in a session.
Wow.
Amy just came in this morning and was like, "Well, have you heard about Hangouts?" And I was like, "No," but we looked at it, and I guess what this does is it creates a lobby, so you can have unlimited number of people hanging out in the lobby, and then underneath that hangout window, you can have all of these different preview hangout spaces for actual Google Hangouts, and each one of those can have its own preview video of, like, in breakout room number 1, we're going to be talking about this. In breakout room number 2, we're going to be talking about this. And then the people who are in the lobby can say, oh, I'm going to go sign up for one of the spaces in these Hangouts until the 10 spots are filled. And then that breakout room can go do their own thing. And people can go back and forth and join from one breakout room to the other breakout room. So it's kind of a fun way to have an unconference on Google Hangouts, an un-hangout, I guess is what the term comes from. And I had also said that I heard today that Google had finished rolling out the feature where you can invite somebody who doesn't have a Google account to a Google Hangout, which is kind of a neat thing, because it was limited by, like Skype. You can't invite somebody to Skype unless they get a Skype account, right? So that may be like a point against Skype, using Skype, because now I've got to try to talk my mother into, how do I sign up for a Skype account? No, I don't want to sign up for another Skype account. I've got too many accounts already. I can't remember the password of email. You can just send the link then for the Google Hangout and invite them, which you can also do with the peer.in. Are there any other applications or uses? How many of you have used Skype or some other video hangout? Probably everybody. Okay. And any favorites?
I used to hang out with my mom while she was in Florida to show her my son.
And so Hangout, the advantages of Hangouts is
It's easy to use.
easy to use, mom can use it.
I was gonna say, I think it completely depends on what your use case is. I would need to do like Skype or a Hangout if I just was having like a voice conversation, but if there was gonna be some writing involved, I might go for more advanced.
Right. So something that can do screen sharing. And what would you use for screen sharing?
But I mean, again, there's a number of options, and it depends on if you want to do small groups. It depends on if you want everybody to have their individual camera, if you want groups around the camera, those kind of things. Because you can. The most advanced web conferencing system we have is Blackboard Collaborate, because there's a lot of tools there that you're not going to get in a lot of the other things, but it also is a much higher barrier for particularly initial entry. It's not just like click a button, boom.
Yeah. That one you have to download software for, right?
The quality of the video is significantly lower than most of the other.
Yeah, and you only
Yeah.
get 6 simultaneous video or audio.
In Blackboard Collaborate, only 6? And the quality
6
of
at
that
the
is
same
good?
time. You can
Right.
have more than 6 and it just kind of rotates through a bit.
Yeah, the quality's pretty good.
Okay.
And you can also do a teleconferencing option. So if you want to have more than 6 people talk at a time, you can have people calling.
You're calling audio only.
So I'm sure everybody here has used Prezi before. Have you seen how you can share Prezi between, you don't actually have to present, you're presenting, but I could share a link to everybody and it's live on your laptop or in front of you, and then somehow I'm sharing my voice some other way, and then they can follow on their laptop the presentation right there, so it doesn't have to be projected, which sounds so simple now, but for me it was a couple weeks ago. But it was pretty different thinking about a way of presenting where not everybody has to be staring up at the screen, but everybody can be in their space and following your presentation right there. And it's live, and I'm speaking through it, and I could be speaking through it with all different ways of sharing my voice with people. I did that at a conference just a couple weeks ago on teaching. So
this is something that we can bring you back for next
actually, actually, I was going to come back and talk about a challenge that we have in languages where a lot of our beginning language classes now have these incredible super sites, they call them, or different things where students are doing some exercises online at home and bringing into class, and all the challenges we have with that. So that could be another thing to maybe think about and work through.
I'm writing that down right
Good,
now.
yeah.
Has anyone else used video conferencing to have a connection with in a class or know somebody that has done that? This is kind of a, okay. Can you share?
Sure. Well, that's kind of one of the main services that my organization provides within Extension. So video conferencing we've been doing for 15 to 20 years. We actually just put together a more cloud-based video conferencing application, similar to Skype and Google Hangouts and Peer, but it gets up to 25 people in it. And it also connects to room-based systems if people are still into using those, or they get scheduled in a classroom that has one.
Physical rooms.
Physical rooms, yeah.
What program did you say?
We're calling it Whistline Anytime Video.
I just saw an email about that.
Yeah, you've probably seen a few in the past couple weeks.
I don't know. Bill Fisher does all the video conferencing
Sure.
stuff. So
Sure.
I don't know
Yep.
anything about it, but I've heard of it. I don't.
That's a point for us. Yay, hearing.
Well, and so I just thought it's like $25 a month for unlimited now, right?
Yep, $25 a month for one account to create as many meetings as you want.
Okay.
So it's not quite as simple as the appear.in, where you just basically log into the site and you create a new meeting on the fly. I'm not sure if these are persistent, like the link stays.
It does.
Okay.
Appear.in?
Yeah.
Well, like John's he signed in as like he has like an account, and so he like owns the room and can put a backdrop, and that
Okay.
room is always his. I don't have an account.
So
but
if you went in and
so
just typed something in, it's only persistent
while
for the time you're in.
while I'm in there. See, like if you look at this is John's regarding John room, and so he just did his backdrop, and he like owns
Yeah.
that.
Because I've got
Yeah.
the crown in the corner of that
Oh.
crown.
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you have to pay for that?
I'm the king of
Do
my
you have to pay
room.
for your crown?
No,
Oh.
it's all free. Now the thing about Appear.in is, and you guys, here, someone should join in. It's so simple, but it's generally okay with one other person. Once you start getting lots more people, and especially if you're on your home Wi-Fi, you know, it can be sometimes have that as I'm talking, and then I skip things and the video gets wonky and the audio gets wonky. So I had a conversation the other day with Captain Stevens about not next Tuesday's lab, 2 Tuesdays from now, the Makerspaces lab, and it was hard sometimes to hear everything. All right, so somebody got the mic on. But the other nice thing about it is,
Maybe you mute yourselves.
Could be me.
it's got chat. So chat shows up in the bottom corner there. I can add all kinds of happy, what are those things called? Emoticons, pizza,
If you're the king of the room, then you can do that.
splash bombs. I can do screen sharing. If I add this extension, and of course muting, and I can, get rid of people if I want to.
And the screen sharing only works in Chrome.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, this whole thing only works in Chrome and Firefox,
There's 3.
not
And Opera,
Safari,
I
and
think.
not Internet Explorer.
I think Opera's that one.
It's so strange, and it Explorer's usually on top of things.
Yeah, when did that happen?
Is there a limit of how many
My cousin who was like, I'll join, but we could hear him, but we couldn't see him. But we had 4 going there, and then a couple people got kicked out, it looks like. So.
Like,
Said, sorry, your room is too crowded.
Oh,
Please
it's
try
too
again
crowded.
later.
Oh, because here comes Lane, and
I look like I'm in from here, but not from here.
Somebody's video's off.
oh,
And, oh, there you go.
Camera's
And that's always one of the things, if the video isn't working, you have to sort of direct, like, mom or grandmother or whatever to, like, click on the little camera on the top of the screen in the bar, and it might work out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That's pretty good.
Do you know if people can call in with a phone on this app?
I do not think you can. I know that it works on a phone.
Well, it's working on mine.
It worked on mine as well.
So that black window is me, because my camera doesn't work, so I'm grandma, who can't figure out how to make it.
Aw. Let me get on this too. This is the second one I've never done this.
Not only did you kick me out, now you won't even go back in.
Oh, did I totally ban you? I'm sorry, James. I just meant to. Now, in the bottom corner here, this is kind of interesting. We actually have a little running tally of how many people are talking here. I am. Wow, okay. Somebody else is chiming here. Oh, black screen. That must be you, Margaret, right?
That's me, yeah.
Alright. So, I don't know how useful this would be for different class situations, especially as it would get kind of crazy. I'll leave myself here too. But,
Maybe your phone.
oh yeah.
Another tool I've used is any meeting
Any meeting?
with an organization that I'm a part of, which a lot of them are very low tech users. All I do is send them a link and they click on it and they enter the room. Or they can call a number if they are really anti-technology.
Okay.
So they call in and be a part of the meeting then too. So there are like levels to purchase, but there is the free part too that we use.
The free trial.
But I've had it for like almost a year now, so.
Okay. So what other ways can this be used in classes? I can see for blended learning, I can see for group collaboration, I can see for connecting with people across the Atlantic.
It was to say, I know a grad seminar where they had guest speakers come in. It was a writing outside academia class, so they had like an editor from the New York Times. So it's very simple, but they didn't have to like actually cut the maps.
Yeah. So get a speaker without paying them.
Or at least paying their travel costs.
Right.
I've used this for office hours.
Oh yeah.
So last semester when I was teaching, I had regular office hours, and I had online office hours just to see if to find students to come in.
Did they?
Yeah, I had a couple times they did. It wasn't very often. It was usually about papers, and so what I would do is I'd use Blackboard Collaborate. I had a little button on my homepage. They clicked the button, brought them right into Blackboard Collaborate, and then during the hours I had selected, they would pop up, and then I had students. They would ask me questions about what book they're supposed to be reading or what page numbers, because they're at the library. They didn't have their syllabus. It was like, it's online. Like, oh, okay, thanks. So they just clicked it online. And then I had another one. We walked through his paper together, and I showed him the copy I had graded, and then we were walking, and he showed me his copy that he was looking at as well. We both looked at the video file.
Like in Google Docs?
So we're
or?
using Blackboard Collaborate.
Okay.
And so we're both just walking through the paper using screencast and just walking through. It's like, oh, no, you need to change this or you need to do this. It worked really well for just kind of a dialogue about a paper. It actually worked better than coming in their office because we both had a nice screenshot of the paper. We could compare notes right on the screen really well and talk back and forth.
So when you had a copy of it, you had a copy of it, a hard copy of it?
I had a digital copy.
A digital
Yeah,
copy.
so I graded it, and then he had a copy that he was working on for revisions. And so he had his copy. We were seeing both copies, and it was looked really slick
All right.
for comparing notes and walking through that paper. And just using audio to talk back and forth while we screencast. So it was actually, that was really productive, and I'm trying to, next, if I ever teach again in a course like that, I'd really like to find ways to motivate students to come in and just try it out.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of times with students, there's a new technology, they don't want to have to learn it.
Right.
Whereas if I just force them to do it, just one time, you have to use like Google Hangout or Google Docs to do a group work, then afterwards they always use it.
It's just getting over that hurdle,
Yep.
that initial like, oh, I don't want to try that, and then they're like, oh, that was super easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so that was kind of, I think, with this, that student came back afterwards, but there's only a handful that actually did it because they were willing to jump over that hurdle. So.
I was going to say about that hurdle that, I don't know if you guys remember, but when there was the flu epidemic going on, all of our classes, all of our departments were told we had to have backups for all of our courses so they could meet virtually. And for a lot of the people, especially people teaching kind of me, technology is a little bit of a challenge. So having an easy way you can just click on a link and not have an account and stuff like that would be very important for some of them, I think. So some of these things would work really well, I think.
Yeah.
The Google, I think the unhangout thing would be really great, better than anything so far for people who are technologically challenged.
Well, and it gets to the point of how do I get more people to participate without, with a limit, without having the craziness of 10 people on at the same time, even on screen. Like, it's much easier for me to have a conversation with 5 other people than it is if I'm one of 40 people.
Yeah.
So that would be.
It'd be nice if with that unhangout, if you can get in the lobby, if you can get a way for the participants to, for us in languages, to participate verbally as well, instead of writing. That would be really pretty cool. They could speak and people could hear, so maybe that's what come down to. Because that's how we teach, really.
Speak inside the breakout, it's just
Yeah.
a lobby. Yeah,
In lobby, it's only like.
to let people know.
And in the lobby, it's not necessarily live, is it? Or it can be a live streaming. Is it a YouTube
I think it said that it's a
version?
recording. You
It's
do
a
a
recording.
and everyone can watch that recording on demand.
And is that recording? Where is that recording sitting? Is that a YouTube
I
recording
actually
or
haven't
something?
used it, so I just heard of it yesterday with
Yeah.
Chris at the meeting.
I was going to say
So-
also here. I want to learn how people do YouTube streaming, so live streaming on YouTube, which I participated in recently by watching. I don't know how it was set up.
So one thing I really like about Blackboard Collaborate with that is it's got this thing called Web Tour, where you can pull up a video and it will literally open the video on everybody's computer, so that it's not just so that it's like if you're the moderator and you're trying to watch the video and you're having technical problems on your computer, it won't be affecting anybody else. They'll all be able to independently watch
Oh, cool.
the video. And that's because usually like when you try and do it with like screen sharing or something, then it's like choppy and
Yeah.
When you did office hours with Blackboard, did you like have to open it every time you were in office hours?
Oh.
Well,
Like
you-
keep it
that's all
open
it
for the
is.
whole hour?
Yep. So what you do is you create a room and you have to have it open for the whole semester.
Hangouts on,
And then-
on air is
then
I think,
Well,
I'm
I
not
guess,
sure what the
do
difference
you
is
log
between
in every time
that
you
and
have
Hangouts on
office
air.
hours?
Once you're in past the firewall,
I think the
then
event
you
has
Blackboard
more of
Collaborate.
a set.
So you just click on a little button.
Right,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
automatically
Whereas
in
Hangouts
the
on
lobby
air is
and
sort of like,
once
hey
you're
guys, I'm gonna watch a
recording,
movie
you
tonight.
Right.
Come
Well, I
Because the
guess
one
I'm
thing
saying
that does,
that
you
the
can go
professors,
to that
they,
YouTube link and you sat there.
how would you know that
and,
there's a
told you
student that wants to
when it
talk to you?
started.
Because it'll pop up.
So you can.
So once you're in
you
Blackboard
get set up
Collaborate,
early,
the
and
student
then-
has to go into Blackboard Collaborate, and then moderate
and
will
just
see
so you know, Blackboard
that the
Collaborate
students
also
will
has
pop.
breakout
will
rooms.
Okay,
come in
so
and
you're
just-
already
I don't
in
see- I
Blackboard.
don't use it, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so and it's a tool that you wouldn't want to just jump into
Yeah, yeah.
because
That's why, okay.
there would be a little bit, and we are, and Hugon, I'm sure you guys are presenting on it in a couple of weeks, right?
Oh yes, Ian's coming back in 2 weeks and talking about Blackboard Collaborate. So,
And
More
frankly, there's a lot going on in this space in campus and system right now, and there's kind of some uncertainty over the next 6 months to a year what tools will be available. 'Cause,
Yeah. That's what kind of why I've been hesitant to use it, because I invested a lot into Moodle, and then I understand that I don't know. So. I don't know.
the other example of this sort of video conferencing, I think it's Tim Postchin, uses it for study sessions with his students. So instead of having them all come into a physical room on a Tuesday night or whatever to get ready for the next test the next morning, he says, I'm gonna be at home, but I'll have this up and I'll be available for questions. And that way the students, they don't have to leave their res hall room or whatever, they can just Skype in or their video in from anywhere that they want. And he says that that's a very successful thing because they'll be studying and they think that they won't need to go to the study session, and then they'll be like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then they'll get online and be like, I'm glad you're here because otherwise they would have had to plan ahead. And who likes to do that?
What tool did he use for that?
I think he uses Google Hangouts.
And the nice thing is that there's a number of these webcams and things where you can actually record those sessions. So
Right.
if a student can't make it, then you can record the session and you can go back.
Yep, I think he does that as well. So a lot of pedagogical uses that I'm hearing, and it's one of those things that I think the more people start playing with it, the more they're going to be like, oh, I could do this as well. One of the other thoughts that I had for the students, you had to repeat what the students said to the video camera. There's this microphone in a ball now that you can just throw.
Oh,
Catchbox.
No.
Catch box? Catch ball?
I haven't seen a ball, I've seen a phone box.
Okay. There's a ball that so it's as well, but yeah, the same sort of idea that you just like throw the microphone and you don't have to worry about the microphone breaking. You do have to worry about knocking over coffee on their table or onto their laptop, but
You could use that as
Catchbox,
overhead.
the throwable microphone for audience engagement. This one looks orange.
You can get it in, I think, 3 other colors.
Oh my gosh, the color.
right.
That is so.
So that'd be
It is
one
big.
potential
Yeah.
way to sort of hand that microphone around Donahue style without
Yeah.
having to.
Oh, they got it, I think.
So I know they've been renovating rooms in office, in the business school.
Yep.
And are they gonna have any rooms like they have in the school of nursing where they have rooms that have each desk has a microphone? You press the microphone, the camera zooms automatically onto the student, and they press another microphone over on the other side of the room, the camera zooms over there on that student. Are they doing that in business?
I do not know.
It'd be
That
interesting
sounds
to know
like
if there's any rooms that are gonna be available for that.
both
type of-
scary and awesome.
Most of our rooms in Van Nuys have overhead projectors, so we're getting there.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. But I know sometimes you can get different rooms, like this room, anyone can reserve it, they just have to talk to the people that.
If it fits the schedule, yes.
Yeah, if it fits the schedule, so sometimes you can find rooms around the campus that have that type of technology that you can get in for the semester, but you have to plan ahead, but I know that that's coming down the pipe, because
Right.
it's already in the school of nursing, though.
Yeah, there are more and more rooms that are being outfitted this way.
Yeah.
The thing about these rooms is you should probably figure out a good way to use them, more than we're using them right now. We had a little bit with this, using this pod to share your thing. So we are using the 2 laptops, but we're not using the whiteboard. We're not really using the other things.
That's good though.
Would you ever thought of trying, like, using, or considered using, because maybe it's not practical, but like having students with their laptops? Like,
Yeah, I was thinking,
shut-
one problem with the room we were in, believe it or not, so, I don't know, I guess reasons for this, the students facing the presentation will have their backs to the computer stations.
Mhm.
And so it's set up for the teacher to monitor what students are doing on their
Yeah.
computers, like we don't trust them. So, that's not really the best room for this type of thing, but then we have another room in Van Nuys where everybody has a laptop right in front of them, but this is much better where they can maybe collaborate, do some group work and stuff like that, so.
286 does that now.
286?
Van Nuys.
Okay. 286 is, yeah, that's on the long hallway, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah, that we've used that before too.
Well,
right?
274 is the room you're thinking of where it's a long table.
Oh.
286, we just retrofitted that has these little pods.
Oh.
It's not as cool as this room, but then you have laptops and it has a little circular, about 3 or 4, so it's a smaller room, but.
Okay. There's a great room also on Henry Mall, I forget which building, that I used years ago for Second Life with
No, I
biotech.
wouldn't have been.
Yeah,
Biochem?
biotechnology.
Oh,
Biotech
okay.
technology, is that a building they call it?
I know biochem, that's where the
Biochem,
PhD
maybe?
used to
I
be.
think
but-
across the street is
Yeah.
genetics and
Yeah.
biotech.
It's sort of-
Biotech is on this
It's
side.
on the east side, of the
Yeah, yeah.
street.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. It's biotech. Yeah. That's where the PhD was first.
Right.
Right, yeah.
So, a couple of disclaimers. Of the tools that we looked at today, Google Hangouts is sort of supported by campus. Blackboard Collaborate, we mentioned, is supported.
That's it.
I think that's it.
Skype for Business might
Yeah. Peer.in is not, FaceTime is not. There's a lot of tools we use every day that are not. And there's actually a campus policy about using them as far as like FERPA and those sorts of things. That I was reminded of yesterday. So you use at your own risk. We don't use. And playing.
I just have one, I just keep going with that, I don't want you to.
Oh, that was sort of the big disclaimer I had to make sure it was on camera at some point.
I was wondering, what was the biggest, like, what was the thing that students took away most from using that Skype interview with French journals? Like, what was the biggest pedagogical?
It was a real event.
Real event. And so what? Yeah. So did it get them excited? Did what?
Yeah, that got them very excited. Well, part of their excitement is that we built up to it. I was, I don't need to show, but all these courses, everything they were doing, I used lots of active learning strategies all the time, and so their bags were already really packed to have a good experience during those 2 Skype moments. It wasn't like some people just say like, on Wednesday show up, we'll Skype. You know what I mean? That they are already ready to go. So I think that was exciting for them to put all that into action, which created a better experience for them overall as well. But I think it was the fact that it was a real moment, and that they were talking with real people, and actually talking with real people who didn't even know how to talk to people who are language learners. And then the fact they were given a real assignment, and there was real competition, and they really got published. So
only a couple students got published?
2 of them got chosen, yeah.
Okay.
2 students were chosen, 1 from each class. So
From
the editor, well, I'm on mute now, but we pre-chose like 4 articles and sent it to them, so they only had to choose among 4.
Sure.
And really, they had to choose 1 among 2 and 1 among 2. So, but the students didn't know that.
And then what did the
I'm muted. What's that?
What did the wind down look like? What did you do for follow up with Skype after that Skype interview?
Gosh, I have to remember. Let's see. There was the last Wednesday was the. Let's see. The articles were published on I can't remember. They were published on a Wednesday, and we started a new module the following Friday. So we started a whole new thing. So it was done basically at that point.
And then in student evaluations, did they mention that?
Yeah,
What
all
did
of
they
them
say?
mentioned, a lot of them mentioned that was probably one of the best moments they've had so far in French, which was good.
Yeah.
I think it was the realness of it that was really the best part.
Well, then part of the realness was the editor's editor coming in, and the editor's editor coming in and interrupting and taking over.
Yeah, and then actually again, that's why I said this was a really great experience regardless of the issues. He was asking them questions, and he really wanted to know the answers. Quite often in class, we ask students questions because we really want to see if they're thinking. We really want to see if they're being critical. We really want to see if they're growing. I'm not necessarily thoroughly interested in their take on a paragraph or a poem. You know, me personally, as a teacher, I'm interested in hearing them produce language and to be coherent. But here was this fellow was making clear, I need your opinions. I would really like to know how you guys are consuming language, consuming news, because you're way ahead of us. You know, so it was added to the realness of the moment. I think it was good, unexpected, and it was good.
And they felt valued.
Can I ask an extension of that question? Have you brought in experts just using the phone before?
Just using the phone, like.
I guess the real question is there a good comparison between bringing in experts on the phone, bringing in experts using some video, like Skype, and whether or not there was a real difference in how your students were engaged?
I think I never did on the phone. I wouldn't even probably consider it, because that's actually, for language learners, it's challenging to hear and not see this person speaking.
Sure.
So it's challenging for me to speak on the phone with, and my French is pretty fluent, and I have a superior rating in ECFO, but I still start conversations with people I don't know, saying, I just want you to know I'm American, and they pattern their language a little bit differently, hopefully for me sometimes, you know.
Okay.
So it's very challenging. So I wouldn't even consider, I think, just having a recording, unless the recording was set up appropriately. You know, our students listen and comprehend and do exercises, but again, that's language that's managed appropriately for them at their level. So.
to that point, I think there is some research out that talks about, it's the multimodalities of it, you know, so it's not just the voice, but it's the voice and the visual, and then the authenticity of, you know, all of the nonverbals that are there, you know, including the, you know, the cat walking in the background adds to sort of the realism and the authenticity of it all. So I think there's a lot of value in that extra dimension.
Yeah. It helped that they were in their newspaper offices too.
Yeah.
And I should tell. I mean,
People walking back
even,
behind.
people started to show up for the second one. A photographer for them showed up and was hanging out in the background and just saying hi. And there was a glass window behind them with a hallway, and other people were showing up and watching. What was going on. We kind of felt like monkeys, but it was pretty fun, I think.
So you found some success with this project. You're thinking of doing it again, presumably. What are you going to do different next time?
I think since everybody there was so excited, I'm gonna try to link up either groups of students with a specific individual there or person to person there. But I don't think they'll be able to get 40 people. So I'm maybe hoping they can get 10 people and we can have groups of 4 and speaking individually at a time that they decide, not a specific time on class, and they can do it in their room, they can do it wherever. Probably I think we'll have that. And then at some point maybe have some sort of another presentation where maybe it's just Adrian or maybe someone else talking with the students. But I think that would work better because there was a photographer, there's people that work on different types of articles, so we can open it up to different types of themes, you know. They were sports. We did, one of the articles that we looked at was some sports articles as well, and we showed that even those follow the same formulas again. So even though
That'd
the
be
language is a lot
great
more.
opportunity for that unhangout where you can have the different rooms that, you know, hang out with the photographer, hang out with the sportswriter, hang out with the, and your
but
students can then.
that's in real time, and I'm wondering with their schedules if it might be cooler if they kind of connect with them and set up a time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Whenever that might be between now and next Saturday, set up a time with your person, and that person knows they're going to do that. So, and they can do that. Person could sit there on their phone
Yeah.
wherever they are. Most people now, so it could be kind of fun. We'll find out.
All right. Thank you, Andrew, for